For centuries, we've thought of meditation as, well, a mental escape, right? A quiet room inside a noisy house. But what if that's only half the story? What if the simple act of sitting in silence could actually trigger a cascade of physical changes, rebuilding your body from the inside out? Okay, let's just jump right in with a question that sounds like it's pulled from science fiction. Can you actually think your way to a different brain? I mean, really, to a different body? Now, most of us would probably say no way, but the science, it's starting to say, yeah, actually you can. Just imagine this. With regular practice, you can physically shrink the part of your brain that fires off panic and stress signals. And while that's happening, you can actually thicken the part of your brain that acts like a CEO. You know, the bit that's in charge of focus, making good decisions, and keeping your emotions in check. Oh, and it's not just all in your head. Outside the brain, you can measurably lower your blood pressure, which is, of course, a huge marker for your overall heart health. Shrinking, thickening, lowering. I want to be really clear here. These are not metaphors. These are real, documented, physiological changes happening inside the body. So today, we're not talking about feelings or beliefs. We are just following the data to see how meditation is, in reality, a form of physical training for your entire body. So, where does a transformation like this even begin? Well, it all starts by flipping the body's master switch, your autonomic nervous system. Okay, so think of your nervous system as having two basic modes. You've got the fight or flight mode, which is basically your gas pedal. It jacks you up with adrenaline and cortisol, getting you ready for action. And then you have rest and digest mode. That's your brake pedal. It promotes calm, recovery, all the good stuff. The problem is, modern life has most of us with our foot slammed on the gas pedal 24/7. Meditation is quite literally the practice of learning how to consciously hit the brakes. So how can we actually measure this shift? Well, the key number here is something called heart rate variability, or HRV. Now, this isn't just about how fast your heart is beating. It's about the tiny little variations in time between each beat. A high HRV is a sign that your nervous system is really healthy and adaptable, that it can switch from stress to calm in a snap. It's a direct sign that your rest and digest system is strong. So the big question is, can meditation actually move that number? Well, the data is pretty clear on this one. Take a look. A 2025 study had both beginners and experienced meditators go through a 2-week mindfulness program. The results? You can see it right here on the chart. The experienced group had a significantly higher HRV score. This isn't just about feeling more relaxed. It's a physical marker showing their nervous systems are just better at handling stress. Okay, so when you calm that master switch, it creates this powerful ripple effect. And the very next system to feel that wave of calm is one that is under constant pressure in our world, your cardiovascular system. Let's look at the hard numbers on this. This is from the landmark MBBP study. Researchers took a group of adults who all had elevated blood pressure and had them do an 8-week mindfulness program. The key finding, 6 months down the line, was a clinically relevant drop in their systolic blood pressure. And clinically relevant is the key phrase here. It means it's a change that actually matters for your health. And here is the number that really pops, an average reduction of 4.5 points. Now, to put that into perspective for you, a drop of just 5 points is linked to a seriously lower risk of things like stroke and heart disease. This tells us that mindfulness isn't just some nice-to-have supplement. It can be a really powerful tool for managing a massive health challenge. So we've seen how meditation can regulate your nervous system, how it can ease the pressure on your heart, but honestly, the most profound changes, the ones that are really the foundation for everything else, happen in the command center. We are talking about rewriting the very code of the brain itself. So to get this, let's meet the key players inside your head. First up, you've got the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's super sensitive smoke detector for fear and stress. Then there's the prefrontal cortex. That's the calm, rational CEO that's supposed to keep that smoke detector in check. And finally, you have the default mode network, which is kind of like the brain's daydreamer. It's what's active when your mind just wanders, often into worrying. Meditation fundamentally alters the power dynamic between these three. You know, for years, the thinking was that these brain structures were pretty much set in stone once you became an adult, but new research is just blowing that idea up. A big 2024 review of the evidence put it plainly, finding that mindfulness can lead to a reduction in both the size and the reactivity of the amygdala. You are literally turning down the volume on your brain's fear center. And this is that brain remodel in action. See, as the amygdala, the fear center shrinks and gets quieter, something else is happening. The prefrontal cortex, your regulation center, gets stronger. We're seeing studies show an increase in its thickness and better connections to other brain regions. It's a physical power shift. Your brain is restructuring itself to be less reactive and more thoughtful, basically giving the CEO more control over the panicky smoke detector. So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that we have to stop thinking of meditation as just a mental thing. It is physical training. Seriously. Just like lifting weights builds your muscles, practicing mindfulness builds a more resilient nervous system, a healthier heart, and a more regulated brain. So this right here, this is the blueprint for change we've been walking through. It all kicks off by regulating that master switch, the nervous system, learning to hit the brakes. That flows directly into better heart health, like lower blood pressure. And all of that is supported by the deep, long-term remodeling of the brain, which creates a whole new default setting for you, one that's calmer, clearer, and just more resilient. And that brings us to one final, kind of mind-bending question. We've seen some pretty undeniable evidence that meditation physically changes your brain and your body. So, if your biology, your automatic reactions, your entire internal state are all being fundamentally altered, does that mean meditation can also change the very essence of who you are?